this afternoon. It's 14 degrees. It's a little bit warmer this afternoon, and we have had it the first 2 games. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons, and you'll notice right off the top, Michael Saunders is leading off for the first time this season, and he's performed well. 45 games, and he's had a .321 on-base percentage, so they're hoping that Saunders will spark the offense a bit. They've been going to show no problem so far with the Boston Red Sox this season. He's 7 for 19, pair of home runs, and he's driven home 6. Blue Jays as a team batting just .214 for the season.
And that is 27th in all of baseball, where last year they were number 2. That is the lineup that Stephen Wright gets to face. He pitched against the Jays a week ago today and lost to Marco Estrada. Gave up 2 runs. One of them was earned. And first pitch shutout ball at baseball until he was lifted with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Gave up those 2 runs in the first inning, then shutout ball. He started commanding the knuckleball just a little bit better. He gave up just 6 base runners after that first inning.
So Michael Saunders getting a foothold in the batter's box. He is going to lead things off this afternoon. We're all set. The knuckleballer is set. Stephen Wright's first pitch of the ball game is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Michael Saunders just 1 for 5. Of course, Stephen Wright hasn't pitched an awful lot, so not many Blue Jays have many at-bats against him.
But this is the 3rd time that they have seen him already this year. And you say, well, how could that be if this is just a second start versus the Jays? He pitched against them in Montreal, if you remember. Had a big game.
Had 8 strikeouts in that game. He gave up a couple of home runs, 1 to Saunders and 1 to Kevin Pillar.
Wow, do you see what happened right there? Michael Saunders was trying to call timeout to the home plate umpire, and he wouldn't give it to him. Stephen Wright likes to work very quickly. And luckily for the Jays, that pitch was off the plate.
3-1. Donaldson will be next. The object here is just to spark the offense a bit, see if they can't get something going. There's a drive down the right side. This is trouble if fair, and it is just foul. Boy, he took a shot at that pesky pole.
Yeah, just hooked it just before that pole. It's 3-1, and he got a fastball. That's the exact situation that he hit the home run in Montreal. It was a 3-1 fastball over the middle of the plate, and Michael socked it to center field. This time he pulls the fastball down the right field line. It's not very far. You can see it's just a couple of feet foul.
Ground ball. That is Marco Hernandez playing in his first big league game. He gets tested right out of the chute. 1 down. Let's take a look at the rest of the Red Sox lineup in the field. Defensively, Chris Young is in left, Jackie Bradley Jr. is in center, and Mookie Betts in right. Travis Shaw has really been good early on at third base. Up the middle, it's Bogarts and Hernandez. Hanley Ramirez looks comfortable at first base, and Ryan Hannigan catching the knuckleballer.
You mentioned Marco Hernandez. This is his 7th professional season, first big league game, ranked by Baseball America as the Red Sox 2nd best middle infield prospect. So he will get the start this afternoon in place of Dustin Pedroia. Gets the day off. Looked pretty comfortable on his first big league grounder, didn't he?
I tell you what, that's a blessing to get action right off the bat. First batter, you get your first ground ball. He got that out of the way. Josh Donaldson had a couple of hits in yesterday's game. He had a triple in the first, a single in the 6th. Finish up that game 2 for 4 for the series. Donaldson is 2 for 8.
The Blue Jays are trying to mess up the timing of Stephen Wright, and it's not happening. There's another one. See, he is asking for timeout. He's not allowed to leave the box, so he is stepping back and he's asking for time one more time. They're trying to mess with the timing. He calls time, but it's too late. Home plate umpire is not going to give it to him. That's 2 batters and 2 times that's happened.
Blue Jays haven't really been too thrilled about the umpiring they've faced so far this season. You look at the strikeout totals, they have 9 double-digit strikeout games in the 12 games they have played.
Very generous strike zone yesterday with David Price on the mound. Had a lot of guys chirping on the Blue Jays side yesterday.
2-2 pitch to Donaldson. High fly ball down the right side. Mookie Betts, long run on the warning track. He gets there. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, the Blue Jays are going to have to pick up that Stephen Wright likes to work very quickly. You're not allowed to leave that batter's box, but you got to keep your eye on that pitcher. The best thing to do is to ask the umpire for time as you are setting your feet. Ask for time and then get yourself set.
Jose Bautista, 2 for 7 in this series. He has an RBI. Picked up that RBI in the first inning yesterday against David Price. Swinging a drive down the left field line. Chris Young looking up. This ball is gone. Home run, Jose Bautista, his 3rd of the season.
There is something about this ballpark for both Bautista and Encarnacion when they step to the plate against the Red Sox. That left field wall is so inviting, and you want to tell yourself to get a good pitch, number one, but they're fly ball type of hitters. It's so inviting to get the ball to left field, and Bautista doesn't waste any time getting the Blue Jays off with another RBI. He hit a double off the wall yesterday to get the Blue Jays their first run.
22nd home run here at Fenway Park for Bautista, and he hit a high fly ball. And that's the knuckleballer, not too many rotations, and it doesn't take much to reach the seats here at Fenway.
Look how that ball stayed on the inner half. To Jose, they wanted that ball to go away. It stayed on the inner half. And knuckleball pitcher, left-hander, right-hander, fireball, I don't care. You got to play these big guys in this ballpark. I am not the kind of guy that says, well, you got a knuckleballer out on the mound, you know, it's going to mess up your swing. I don't think so. These veteran guys have been around enough to know how to adjust their swings.
I don't think you take him out of the lineup in the 13th game of the season. That's hit off the bag, and Encarnacion will get a base hit. So he gets a break right there. Travis Shaw was positioned in foul ground to make a play on that, but the ball hit third base, popped in the air, and Encarnacion has a base hit.
And he will take it. Would have been a bang-bang play over there at first base. Nothing you can do as a third baseman. You set yourself, if it hits the bag, nothing you can do. Shaw thinks he has a shot. Encarnacion's got an infield hit. Right off the bag. That's about the 3rd or 4th time already this season we've seen the Blue Jays do that.
Troy Tulowitzki with a check swing foul. Well, they haven't had a whole lot of breaks. They're hitting .214 as a team. And the majority of the hitting has been done by Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion. Everybody else trying to catch up. Ball in the dirt, and Encarnacion stays at first base. For Bautista, that's his 3rd home run of the season against Boston. He had a 2-homer game against Rick Porcello. Tulowitzki with a base hit up the middle. Encarnacion will stop at second. All this coming with 2 outs. Bautista homered, Encarnacion singled, and now Tulowitzki follows suit.
How about that? 2 quick outs at the top of the lineup, and then you got to deal with Bautista, Encarnacion, home run, single, and now Troy Tulowitzki with a base hit. Right back through the middle. That's where I think he should live for a while to get that batting average up. Right in the middle of the diamond. There's a lot of hits to center field.
Chris Colabello off to a slow start. Just 1 hit so far this season. He lifts it into the outfield. Long run for Mookie Betts. He's not going to get there. Encarnacion is headed home. They're going to cut the ball off. Chris Colabello with an RBI single. That's his first RBI of the season.
First RBI of the season. And when you're struggling like that, it's so good just to clear your mind and say, you know what? I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible going into that batter's box. I'm not going to think about my hands, my feet, the type of pitcher. I'm going to see the ball, and I'm just going to hit it. And that's a great approach, I think, when you're struggling like that. Clear your mind. Dumps it in front of Mookie Betts. I thought Betts had a better shot of going to third base against Tulowitzki, but with 2 outs, runners are going on contact. Colabello's got an RBI.
Russell Martin. First pitch strike with the knuckleball. Martin just 3 for 33. He has 3 singles. That one almost got away from Hannigan, and he has not caught Stephen Wright very much this season.
Yeah, he's caught a couple of bullpens, a couple of side sessions against the knuckleballer. You can see he's down on one knee and fights that one to get it into the glove. So if you're a base runner, take note.
Blake Swihart caught Stephen Wright all spring long, and then caught him in the start at Rogers Center in his first start. Swihart has been demoted to AAA Pawtucket, and now Hannigan's going to draw the duty of catching that knuckleball.
When you see a catcher go down to that one knee and you're a runner on base, anticipate it in the dirt and move up.
Russell can appreciate the job Hannigan has to do today. He battled R.E. Dickey in the first half of the season last year. 2-0 Blue Jays. And Martin strikes out. The Blue Jays will strand it there, but they jump out on top. Jose Bautista gets things started with a booming home run into the Green Monster seats. His 3rd of the season. His 22nd home run at Fenway Park. Four-game series. They'll finish the series tomorrow morning on Patriots Day here in Boston. Take a look at the lineup for John Farrell's Boston Red Sox. Mookie Betts top of the order, then Xander Bogaerts. He moves into the 2nd spot. Dustin Pedroia gets the day off. Bogaerts is riding an 8-game hit streak, 11 for 33 with 5 extra base hits. And how about Big Papi? He moves up into the 3rd spot in the lineup today, and he has hit Aaron Sanchez well, 4 for 7 with a double and an RBI.
That is the lineup that Aaron Sanchez will face, and he has been everything that the Blue Jays had hoped for and more, but he's winless in 2 starts. Aaron has given up an earned run in both games, but the Jays just have not been able to score him any runs. 2 runs in both starts. That's tough to win in that any situation. This is his 3rd career start versus the Red Sox and his 2nd here at Fenway Park.
Sanchez delivers a first pitch strike to Mookie Betts. Check swing and quickly ahead 0-2. Sanchez to Betts. That's 239 in the early going. He's got a pair of home runs. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, Mr. Betts. 3 pitches in the first strikeout of the afternoon for Sanchez.
It sounds like our stay here in Boston, a morning game, an afternoon game, and a night game. 3 of them right here. How about this comeback fastball right on the outside corner to set down Mookie Betts. 29 hits over the last 2 years versus the Blue Jays, and on his first at bat.
Sanchez making his 3rd career start against the Red Sox. This is Xander Bogaerts. He gets a fastball and fouls it back. Bogaerts with an 8-game hit streak, as we mentioned. He had the big hit in yesterday's game off of Marco Estrada. Ground ball. Tulowitzki scoops and fires. 2 down. And Sanchez gets 60% ground ball, so the defense on the infield is going to be important this afternoon. Take a look at the defense in the outfield. It's Saunders, Pilar, and Bautista. Infield is a good one. Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, Ryan Goins, and Chris Colabello. Russell Martin will handle Sanchez here this afternoon.
And in that outfield, Michael Saunders, he's got a new position in the batting order, but his familiar spot in left field, he's done a good job playing the tricky wall here at Fenway Park. It's right behind him. You can see he doesn't have to play that deep. Anything over your head is usually off the wall anyway. He's done a good job so far here in this series.
Sanchez pounding that fastball to get ahead of Ortiz. One count. Ortiz has 4 hits against Sanchez in 7 at bats. Pretty good pitch, and there's a ball. Russell Martin liked that last pitch, and I like the fact he went back to back with breaking balls.
Anytime you see that catcher point out to the pitcher saying a good pitch, you know he thought that that was a strike, but it's called low.
Off the plate outside. Trade 1 to Ortiz with 2 outs. And Sanchez is in good hands with Russell Martin, the veteran catcher behind the plate. 97 for ball 4. A 2-out walk to Ortiz. The Blue Jays rallied with 2 outs and nobody on in the top half of the inning. So Hanley Ramirez, the first baseman. Ramirez has gotten off to a decent start. Home run, 5 RBIs. Last April, he had 10 home runs in his first season with the Red Sox.
3 of those home runs came in the first 9 games against the Blue Jays. I mean, he was tearing them up before he got injured. Then we didn't even see him in September.
Hanley checking with Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire, just to see if that's as far as that outside strike goes. Tapper past Sanchez. Donaldson has to throw in a hurry. What a stretch by Colabello. Boy, that extra extension by Colabello is able to help out Donaldson. Donaldson had trouble getting the ball out of his glove. It looks like the Red Sox are going to check this replay. It was bang bang at first. Ramirez got jammed. It barely got past the mound, but Sanchez couldn't get it.
That was Ruben Amaro, the first base coach. He was questioning if Colabello is on the bag. You can see Donaldson, the transition from his glove to his hand just a little bit different. He's out. The question is he on the bag? I think he was.
Red Sox are going to give it up, and the Blue Jays are through the bottom of the first, 2-0.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Beautiful shot of Fenway Park here in Boston. This city is absolutely jam-packed with the Boston Marathon taking place tomorrow, and everybody on every street running, getting ready for the big race tomorrow.
Could they put any more bodies in that restaurant we went to last night? I don't think so.
It is jam-packed.
It looks like
quite an event.
Looks like Fenway Park. That's what the restaurant looked like last night, just jammed.
Kevin Pillar back in the 8th spot. He hit down in the order last season and had a good year. Pulls this one into the seats down the left side.
They put the new netting around Fenway Park, around home plate, right to the dugouts. But that's still a danger zone down the left field line, isn't it?
Get more hot shots into that seating area down past the dugout, but there's that new screen all the way to both dugouts. It's been promoted by baseball that they put up those protective screens, and you can see it's really hardly noticeable. And I agree with it 100%.
Fans are awfully close to the players.
Kevin Pillar gets a single to left field. Blue Jays with 5 hits through 8 spots in the order. They are on Stephen Wright.
That's good to see. Pillar, he swung the bat well in spring training, and that was the thought process of putting him into that leadoff spot. But he had success down at the bottom of the lineup. Take the pressure off of you just a little bit. Just go out there and just do your thing. Pitchers have to navigate through that middle of the lineup, but then they get down to you. Maybe they forget about you. Maybe that'll spark Kevin a little bit to get him going offensively.
Ryan Goins in the 9th spot. Might have been a fastball there as Wright's mixing it up a little bit.
He's throwing more fastballs, using that fastball a lot more over his last 4 starts. So he's basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Knuckleball he throws about 90% of the time. Fastball 10% of the time. You just have to guess along with him.
Inside. Wright converted to a knuckleball pitcher in 2011. He was originally drafted out of the University of Hawaii, but that transition has been ongoing. He's now 31 years old. He was acquired in a trade from the Cleveland Indians in 2012. Another ball into the seats. Tell you one thing, you come to Fenway Park, you got a pretty good chance of getting the foul ball.
Just pay attention because you're so close. You're right. That's why this has always been a great hitter's ballpark. Not only it's short to left field and down the right field line, but there's no foul territory. A lot of foul balls and giving you an extra chance to swing the bat.
One and 2 to Goins. Off the plate. Hannigan trying to bring it over the outside corner. That has been a topic of discussion all throughout this series, with the strikeouts jumping up to an alarming rate, talking about the inconsistent strike zone. Popped into shallow left. Chris Young coming in, makes the catch. 1 down.
You know, on that factor, talking about the strike zone, I thought Jose Bautista's reply was perfect. He said, because it was framed about the catcher, you know, stealing pitches for him. He said, why is the home plate umpire looking at the catcher? He should be looking at the pitch over the plate. And there's been a couple of times so far in this series where Christian Vasquez stole pitches for his pitcher.
Yeah, and I agree with Bautista 100%. The ball is a ball or a strike as to where it crosses the plate.
Exactly. Exactly.
Back to the top of the order. Michael Saunders grounded out to second base his first time up. Getting in a leadoff spot for the first time. In case you're just joining us, John Gibbons made a change top of the order, dropping Pillar into the 8th spot and using Michael Saunders as the leadoff man.
Well, I'd love to see the Blue Jays keep the pressure on the Red Sox right here. Maybe start the runner over there at first base. You know how difficult it is as a catcher to try and catch the ball, first of all, from a knuckleball pitcher, then try to throw a base run around. Perfect time to run.
There's a strike. Pilar had 25 steals a year ago. He is 1 for 1 so far in the early going. Strike 2. Now with 2 strikes, the Red Sox, as we've seen throughout this series, will take the third baseman and put him all the way on the first base side of the infield, eliminating the chances of guarding against that bunt. So he is now on the right side.
And the whole idea is to keep the double play combination together in the middle of the diamond. Hernandez and Bogarts. You don't want that third baseman who's not really used to turning a double play, pivoting around second base, dealing with that. So they've got Shaw in the hole on the right side, Hernandez the second baseman behind second, and there's Bogarts the shortstop.
Popped up over near the seats. Long run for Bogarts, and it's going to be a couple of rows into the seats, out of play. Blue Jays scored 2 in the first. They scored 2 in the first the last time they faced Stephen Wright. They need to add on some runs. 2 runs on 5 hits. First time through the batting order. We saw Wright in Montreal, as Pat mentioned, pitching in the exhibition series, and he had a good knuckleball that night. He gave up 2 home runs, 1 to Saunders and 1 to Pilar, but had 8 strikeouts in that game. That's his first start of the season. That was against Marco Estrada. He gave up those 2 runs in the first inning. Pedroia contributed to that unearned run. He made an error.
But then shutout baseball all the way into the 7th inning. Blue Jays just could not come up with the big clutch hit to really knock him out of the ball game, so he stuck around long enough. Now they got a chance to do some damage early. Maybe start that runner.
2-2, 1 out. Pilar at first with a base hit. Not going. Lifted in the air into center. Jackie Bradley Jr. shading his eyes. The sun is a challenge here. He stays with it and makes the catch. Turn around, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Masashi Iwakuma, the starter for Seattle, has given up 3 runs on 4 hits through 2 1/3. Saunders retired. Josh Donaldson bats with 2 outs. Line drive, caught by Bogarts. Xander Bogarts takes a hit away from Donaldson. The Blue Jays, they're all over Stephen Wright, hitting the ball hard. This time Wright gets some help from his shortstop, Xander Bogarts, who leaves his feet to take one away from JD.
Michael Saunders and asked him about his approach batting at the top of the lineup, and he told me don't expect it to change a whole lot. He said once you start tinkering with your approach, whether you're batting first, fourth, or sixth, he said that's when you can get yourself into a bit of a problem. He also said that he does not expect to get pitched any differently. He says pitchers realize how they can get you out and know how to attack you. They'll keep doing it until you are forced to make the adjustment. Manager John Gibbons believes moving Kevin Pillar down may take a little bit of pressure off of him, but ultimately, Gibbons said, we have to get guys in front of our hottest hitters right now.
Well, they tried to shake it up, and so far so good. Although Michael Saunders has made 2 outs, Blue Jays have taken a 2-0 lead.
It's the same guys, isn't it?
Same guys doing
the order,
doing the damage. Travis Shaw, Chris Young, and Jackie Bradley Jr. for the Red Sox, bottom of the 2nd. Pulled off the wall over in front of the Red Sox dugout.
I think that's the pitch we're going to start to see come to life, I think, for Aaron Sanchez. He's got a good curveball, but we didn't see it that very much. When he was coming out of the bullpen, it was basically grip it and rip it for that 1 inning.
Fastball at 98, up and in. No chance for Travis Shaw. 2nd strikeout of the ball game.
You know, and when you throw curveballs like that and then heat them up with 2 strikes, that's where you get the freeze jobs right here. Aaron has been working on that 2-seam comeback fastball. You start it right at the hip of that left-handed batter and you freeze them. And it comes over the inside corner. 2nd strikeout of the afternoon.
Chris Young starting against the right-hander. And he takes strike 1. Jay Happ will pitch tomorrow. And because Young is a platoon player, John Farrell giving him a start today against the righty. So at least he knocked some of the rust off today. The Red Sox have not faced a left-hander starting a ball game this season.
And he had only had 1 start. That was back at Rogers Center when Brock Holt fouled a ball off of his foot and could not go the next day. Young got in there and played. That was against Marco Estrada, so this is just his 2nd start of the afternoon, or excuse me, of the season.
Wow. All 3 strikeouts, hitters have been caught looking, and that's that curveball that Sanchez started right at the hip of Chris Young.
Like I said, I think it's going to get better and better and better. He actually misses his spot. They wanted that one to go down and away, but because he's got so much late break on it, batters tend to give up on it. Catches the inside corner.
Jackie Bradley Jr. in the 7th spot this afternoon. He has hit 9th in the 2 games prior to this.
You know what Aaron says? He was saying in spring training, because of the added weight and the strength in his legs, he feels like everything is effortless. His arm is working well with his body. He feels like he's throwing, 96, 97 miles an hour, but there isn't the strain on the arm because his legs have been so much stronger.
He's got a great delivery right now. He's really balanced. 2-1 to Jackie Bradley Jr.
That's another thing that Aaron says. He said, with the added strength, I can stay balanced. I can stay within my delivery. I think you got to pitch Jackie Bradley up. He's got a little hole right above his hands.
The ball ran off the plate. A lot of late life. That Sanchez fastball.
They were trying to go there, weren't they? Up. He'll swing underneath it.
Ground ball. Colabello knocks it down. Sanchez is there. The inning is over. 3 up, 3 down. Top of the 3rd, it'll be the big guns for the Blue Jays. Jose Bautista has already homered this afternoon. Edwin Encarnacion singled and scored. Tulowitzki with a single.
It's the Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling Players Championship Women's Final. Jennifer Jones versus Eve Muirhead. Jones looking to win her 6th career Players Championship title. That's on right now over on Sportsnet 1. A little later on, it's the men's final. Brad Jacobs versus Brad Gushu at 5 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet 1.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And we've got a good ball game going here. Aaron Sanchez. 2 good innings. He had a walk and has 3 strikeouts. So here's the middle of the order. Big bats, Bautista, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki. Jose hit a home run into the green monster seats just inside the foul pole down the left field line. Home run number 3 for Bautista, his 9th RBI.
He's zeroing in on that knuckleball, especially on the inner half. He's got such a great idea at the plate, being able to take borderline pitches, being able to get himself into hitters' counts. Tim Leeper was telling me today, Leap was a coach in the Pirates organization in 2005 when Jose was with the Pirates, and he said, don't give up on this guy. He's going to be like Albert Pujols because he's got a great idea at the plate. He's going to put up big numbers. Said he was laughed right out of the room.
Yeah, they gave up on him.
They gave up on him. Thank you very much. Because he's got a great idea at the plate and he takes tough pitches. He's always ready when the pitcher makes mistakes.
Bautista strikes out. Second strikeout for Wright. 1 down in the 3rd.
I'd have to say he was right on about the Pujols type of numbers. Big power, big RBIs. That time he comes up empty with the knuckleball.
And Bautista hits good pitchers. We mentioned yesterday in the start against Price, he had 5 home runs against Price. He's got 5 against Lester, and he's not too happy about that last at bat. Edwin Encarnacion singled and scored in the 1st.
You know, most guys would be happy with a home run and a strikeout their first 2 at-bats.
Jose's a perfectionist.
Right.
He really demands a lot from himself, and that's why he's been so good.
And the fire burns throughout the whole game. He talks about being competitive, how competitive. Look, he's still frustrated and upset about that last at-bat.
2-1 to the Blue Jays DH. Home run cut. Came up empty-handed. Edwin hit one right off the 3rd base bag his first time up. He scored on Colabello's RBI single to right. Off the catcher's glove. Foul tip.
You know, everybody says knuckleball pitchers can put you in the slumps. How about knuckleball pitchers can get you out of slumps? Blue Jays have been slumping offensively. They look pretty good so far today, don't they?
Outside of the big 3, everybody else is slumping. They're welcome a change. Give me something different to look at.
Give me some hits. That's all it is, right?
And Blue Jays played 12 games. They're 2 games under 500. There's a strikeout and the tag at home plate. 2 strikeouts here in the 3rd.
You know, sometimes all it takes is a couple hits to get your mind right. Evan comes up empty on this one. Looked like he was trying to create some lift in his swing on that knuckleball. Stayed true towards home plate.
Troy Tulowitzki got a single his first time up. That's just his 6th hit of the season. He has a pair of home runs. He's driven home 5. The high fly ball deep to center field. Bradley Jr. fighting the sun. Boy, did a good job of using that glove to shade his eyes from that bright sun. Good inning for Stephen Wright.
Log into My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ3158 to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. The code must be entered by 11:59 p.m. tonight, so look for a new code tomorrow. Buck.
Thank you, Hazel. Beautiful afternoon here, and the Blue Jay fans have been consistent in their support of the Blue Jays here at Fenway Park. And we have a lot of fans from the east coast of Canada make their way down here to Boston. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the third. Catcher Ryan Hannigan will lead things off. Aaron Sanchez has 3 strikeouts through 2 innings.
Just through the first 2 innings, if you watch him, he looks very comfortable right now. The arm must be feeling pretty good because he's pumping it in there.
At the start of this game, Sanchez had averaged 14.5 pitches per inning. And that was the knock on Sanchez. Well, he's not a command guy, not a control guy. That's not been an issue going all the way back to the first outing in spring training.
And right now, he is starting to use all of his pitches. We'll watch him as he gets himself through these Boston Red Sox hitters. Is he going to use the fastball more the first time through? Maybe start working in the curveball. His changeup is a pitch that's really, I think, coming along for him.
He's starting to get a feel for the ability to throw fastballs at less than 100%. That last pitch was 93 miles an hour, but it had dramatic movement on it.
I've talked to a lot of pitchers before, and you just have to trust the ability that if you throw a, quote, BP fastball, you're going to have success with it. Dave Steve was really good at throwing the BP fastball.
Of course, you don't want to give away any of that velocity, but there are times in at-bats where less is better.
And it's a timing thing. I think Aaron can do it because his ball moves so much. You can throw a 3-1 fastball and get a ground ball.
Ryan Hannigan chases one upstairs. That's that good heater. 97 miles an hour, and Aaron Sanchez is among the leaders in the pack in that department. Tap the fastball velocity. This is a pretty impressive list, top 5.
The difference between Sanchez's fastball and some of those other guys who throw harder than him is the amount of movement Aaron gets on it. All fastballs pretty straight. So is Luis Severino's. Aaron's fastball averaging 95 miles an hour, but it's the movement and the sink that he gets. And when you've got that kind of fastball, you can pitch up in the strike zone or down in the strike zone. Doesn't matter.
Mark Hernandez getting his first big league at bat. He played 6 games at Pawtucket and got off to a decent start. He was 6 for 21 in AAA. He had a double, a triple, and drove in 3. And then he was called to the big leagues.
He was brought up when the Red Sox made all those moves before this series. He just wanted a little bit more infield depth in case late into the game they had to make some moves. He has played short, he has played second, he's played third. He's also had a start in the outfield in his minor league career.
He came to the Red Sox after Boston traded Felix Dubron to the Cubs. He was a player to be named later in that deal. Two balls and 2 strikes to number 9 hitter.
Told you his arm's feeling pretty good early in the game. He's come out of his delivery the last couple of pitches to overthrowing that fastball.
Mookie Betts was a strikeout victim his first time up. There's a walk. A 1-out walk. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Matt Moore, the starter for Tampa Bay in that ball game. Matt Moore, boy, you talk about strikeouts. Matt Moore has 8 strikeouts through 3 2/3.
Wow.
Strikeouts are off the chart.
Yeah, it's not just the Blue Jays.
No, it's everywhere.
Striking out. It's everywhere.
They've had a 16 strikeout game already. Vince Velasquez of the Phillies. Top of the order now. Mookie Betts caught looking at strike 3 in the first. Goes after the first pitch and loops it into left. Michael Saunders hits there. He takes the throw all the way to first base, but Hernandez is back easily. 2 down.
And that's the beauty of Fenway Park and no other ballparks. That's a base hit, but because it's so shallow, the left fielder doesn't have to play so deep. You can take away line drives like that. You can also go after those type of balls because it's so shallow. If you miss it or if it gets by you, that ball's going to bang off that wall right back to you, and the runners have to hold.
Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop. For Bogaerts, this is his 3rd big league season already, and he's just 23 years old. He played in 144 games in 2014, hit just 240. He made a quick adjustment. He hit 320 last year in a full season. Had 196 hits.
And it started with the defense. He has become a very good defender. He has worked very hard with Brian Butterfield, the infield instructor for the Boston Red Sox. Made that great play against Donaldson to end the inning.
Now, how does defense affect a player's hitting ability?
I think you get confidence as a defensive player, okay, that you can play in the big leagues. Now you know you're going to play every day. And if you know you're going to play every day because you can catch the ball and you play an important position like shortstop, the hitting's going to come around. This guy has hit everywhere that he has played in baseball. He's also been the youngest player at every place that he has played.
All of a sudden, Sanchez having trouble finding that strike zone. 3-0 to Bogaerts.
They might let him swing away here.
He homered yesterday. Sanchez pours that fastball in there. Blue Jays lead it 2-0. That ball was nearly past Bogaerts when he made contact.
Well, they've been waiting in Boston to see Xander Bogaerts do this. He sold out on a fastball, and he was saying after the game that he is glad that he got a fastball changeup. He would have hit it right into the dirt. but they think that he can hit 20 home runs, 15, 20 home runs as a shortstop as he grows into his body and becomes a little bit more familiar with big league pitching. He got a fastball from Marco Estrada, really the only mistake Marco made all day long.
3-2. There goes the runner at first. The ball is bounced to third. Big hop for Donaldson. Good throw in time. Sanchez walks a batter. Red Sox strand one. We'll go to the 4-2-0. The Blue Jays are really struggling at the plate, and you can see there are 4 guys that are having their problems through their first 13 games.
Not getting hits is one thing, striking out is another. That's the alarming part of it, all the strikeouts from these guys. But there's no doubt in our minds that these guys are going to hit. Can you remember what they hit last April? No, because nobody cares. What did you do over the 6 months? And that's what the baseball season is. It's 6 months long. Don't worry, these guys have got track records. They're going to hit.
Chris Colabello will lead things off, and remember last year Colabello began his season in AAA Buffalo. He had a great start to his year, and I think that played into his hot streak when he first joined the Blue Jays. Colabello in 23 games in AAA last year hit .337 with 5 home runs and 18 RBIs. Then he made his first start with the Blue Jays on May 5th, got 2 hits in his first game, and then hit .368 in May.
Pound on some of those minor league pitchers, get your confidence and get your stroke up.
Well, the Blue Jays called him up when he was hot, and they didn't sit him around. They put him right in the lineup. The interesting thing that people forget about, he played his first 26 games for the Blue Jays in the outfield. You can't even fathom him playing in the outfield anymore. He plays well at first base.
First base, yeah. And playing in the outfield, he was playing a new position, and that is difficult to do.
But in his first 25 games, he had 7 doubles, 4 home runs, and 14 RBIs with the Blue Jays. So he was hitting with a lot of confidence, having gotten off to a great start in AAA. In fact, he was the International League Player of the Month in April. Look out!
Boy, you want to stay out there. Stephen Wright, it was a fastball that he was going to try and jam Colabello on it. It sounded like it got the helmet, and that is unnerving for a pitcher.
You can see Stephen Wright's come all the way into home plate to check on the well-being of Chris Colabello. Everybody out in the field obviously concerned anytime anybody's hit up around the head. Blue Jays are really going to take precautions here to make sure he's okay. Mike Frostad, the assistant trainer, checking on him, and he appears to be okay, but you can't take any chances when a player is hit in the head.
None whatsoever. more so now than it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, because they have so much more information. They've got the baseline testing. They've got some questions they can ask you, like right now. And if you can answer those, you can feel like you know where you are, you know the answers to some of that can tell you if you're okay or not. That is scary. You can see Chris is doing all the talking right here.
Yeah, he looks like he's very aware of the situation, and he's to his feet. He's going to stay in this game and make sure his helmet is okay. That's great news. Great news for everybody, and you can see Stephen Wright checking on him as he's walking back to the mound. Now Carl Willis is out saying, I got to get my pitcher back into the right frame of mind.
I think he senses something with his starting pitcher. Again, it's a fastball. It's only 87 miles an hour, and he lets go of it and loses it. Cracks him up above the shoulders. And you were right. They were visibly, right on the side of the helmet. He was visibly shaken when that ball got away from him. Scary incident the other day when Kevin Pillar was hit in the bill of the helmet. This one looked like it got a little bit more flush on the side. Look at the pitcher.
Such a dangerous situation. It impacts everybody, the pitcher and the hitter. So it appears as though everything is good with Colabello. He's at first now for Russell Martin, and Martin hits one high into the air. Tough sun field for Jackie Bradley Jr. playing it off to the side. Boy, he did a good job of getting an angle and keeping that ball out of the bright sun.
That's a perfect description of it right there, Buck. You got to get on the side of it. He turns his body. That's what he's looking up into, that high sky. There's no clouds to give it a little background, but you get onto the side, you get your glove up there, and you're just hoping that that ball comes out of the sun. Jackie Bradley, that's 3 in a row that he's had to handle, and he's handled it flawlessly.
So Kevin Pillar, who singled his first trip to the plate, will bat with one out. Hot shot, base hit. Kevin Pillar, 2 for 2, down in the 8th spot in the order.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations, proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Blue Jays trying to add to their lead here in the 4th inning. It's 2-0 Jays. Runners at first and second for Ryan Goins. Goins hit a lazy fly ball to left his first time up.
You know, you were saying that the Blue Jays have gotten to Stephen Wright. Still just 2-0. You know, they've got the base runners. Now they have to figure out a way to start bringing these runners around.
They have 6 hits, but just the 2 runs. Foul ball. Kevin Pillar 2 for 2. He's at first. Colabello got hit in the helmet to start the inning. He's at second base. Now Ryan Goins trying to push these runners around. He's going to reach the upper deck and back to the lower deck.
If he can get one of these knuckleballs and pull it into right field, there is a lot of room. You can see the left and the center fielder pulled, shaded over towards left field. That's Mookie Betts all by himself. Look at all the room that you have in right field to deal with. Try and get that knuckleball, get it out in front, pull it for some extra bases.
Waves at that high knuckler and strikes out. 2 down now.
Ball that was off the plate. Tumbles away from him.
Looked like that was one of those R.A. Dickey wigglers. That thing started in the zone and then just shot away from Goins. 4 strikeouts now for Wright. Michael Saunders 0 for 2 so far.
You know, knuckleball, everybody says, what, do you throw it with your knuckles? No, you throw it with your fingertips. He is a little bit off of the horseshoe, if you will. There's a horseshoe with the stitches of the baseball, semicircle. A lot of knuckleball pitchers like to put their 2 fingers just at the top of that horseshoe. He's a little off center just a little bit, just to create his knuckleball.
Yeah, and everybody's a little bit different just depending on how you release that baseball, and that's the toughest part of it. You're always experimenting. And Stephen Wright began throwing the knuckleball in 2011, and everybody knows how long it took R.A. Dickey to master the knuckleball.
Yeah, think about being able to throw the knuckleball, first of all, just making the ball not spin. Then you have to throw it in the strike zone. It is a process, and it's fun whenever you see the guys who have been in that knuckleball club. They always go together. You know, Tim Wakefield, we've seen him the last couple of days, and he's always talking to Stephen Wright. R.A. Dickey is in the house, and they'll always exchange ideas.
Two and two now, 2 outs, 2 aboard. We're in the 4th. Thunder stays alive. You know, you talk about the great knuckleballers. There was Eddie Fisher, who was a reliever. Hoyt Wilhelm. He pitched 1,070 games, but made only 52 starts. So can you imagine bringing a knuckleballer into a ball game as a relief pitcher and how he has to command the strike zone?
Late in a ball game, maybe with runners on base. I tried to hit Hoyt Wilhelm's knuckleball one time.
This is popped up left side of the infield. Shaw backpedaling. Bogarts comes over, calls him off. The shortstop makes the catch. The Blue Jays strand 2 more. They haven't been able to push anything across. Now Stephen Wright once again checking in on Chris Colabello. What's going on? The Yankees at the start of play today, 4-6 for the season. Everybody's just kind of getting things sorted out. In case you haven't heard, Baltimore has been rained out down in Texas already, and they have planned to make that game up tomorrow, which plays into the hands of the Blue Jays, as the Blue Jays will play in Baltimore on Tuesday night. So the Orioles had scheduled an off day, but because of the rain out today, they will play the Rangers Monday in Arlington.
Why aren't they playing a day game then in Texas? That would make a lot more sense. In that Yankee game, A-Rod, they dropped him down in the lineup. Came through with a home run today. See?
Those managers, they can figure things out,
It's
can't
not
they?
just Kevin Pillar, you know. Joe Girardi did the same thing with a guy who's been in the big leagues for 20 years.
Just free him up a little bit. Middle of the order for Boston here in the bottom of the fourth. Ortiz walked his first time up. Aaron has issued 2 walks. He struck out 4. 3-0. A 4-pitch walk. Well, we want to bring your attention to the start time tomorrow. It's Monday, but it's a Monday morning game. It all starts at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time right here on Sportsnet. That'll be the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zaun. Jay Happ will go to the mound against Clay Buchholz. And for the Red Sox, this is the first left-handed starting pitcher they will have faced all season long.
Breakfast in the Blue Jays tomorrow. Be there.
Clay Buchholz will start for Boston. And Ramirez shortens up as if to bunt, takes a strike. Aaron Sanchez, 23 years old. He'll turn 24 on Canada Day, July 1st. Pulled foul. He was drafted in the first round by the Blue Jays in 2011. He was the 34th pick overall as compensation pick for the Blue Jays, not signing Marco Scudero. And he came out of Barstow High School, and when he was drafted, everybody drew the comparisons to Oral Hershiser. Long and lean.
Long and lean.
A lot of movement on his fastball.
A little bit better arm than Oral. Oral was a master. Right now, Aaron's learning his craft, trying to figure it out. You can see evidence of the 3 walks so far in the 4 innings. He's got a great fastball today. He just hasn't been able to consistently get it in the strike zone. You see him fighting his delivery right there. Saying, keep that front shoulder closed just a little bit longer.
Big thing for young pitchers is to make a quick adjustment. He had a 4-pitch walk to David Ortiz to start the inning. And blows this one right by Hanley Ramirez. Well, baseball is in great hands right now as far as young stars, and especially the young American League starting pitching. And you look at the ages of these top-notch pitchers, future's very bright for baseball.
And I think you can do this with young pitching around baseball. You can get them to the big leagues quickly, because I don't know if you want to like worry about breaking their arms or anything like that, but for some reason these young stars, they can get here very quickly. Rodon, who we just saw from Chicago, was in college just a couple of years ago. But you can get them up in the big leagues, and with their kind of stuff, it plays at the major league level.
And if they command their pitches, it's not like a hitter having to adjust to a pitcher's pitches to hit. You command the strike zone, command your pitches, you can rise quickly into the majors. Sanchez falls behind Travis Shaw. He's a dangerous hitter. He was caught looking at strike 3 to start the second.
He's got that great sinking fastball, conducive for a lot of ground balls. I think once he learns to throw that with the movement down in the strike zone, especially when he is behind in the count, where he can throw off the timing just a little bit of those hitters, you're going to see them trying to roll over on that ball, and he'll get his share of ground ball outs.
Good pitch right at the bottom of the zone. Last year, when he split his time between the rotation and the bullpen, he had a 62.1 ground ball percentage. To give you a comparison, the major league leader was Brett Anderson at 66.7. So he's right there with the big boys. This is popped up left side. Kudo out. Saunders calls him off. The left fielder makes the catch. Shaw's retired. So for a power pitcher like Sanchez to rack up the ground balls and then have the ability to strike out a lot of guys, he's going to have some quick innings.
He could do that a lot last year because it was one inning coming out of that bullpen. Like I said, just use your fastball. His fastball changeup mainly for Aaron. Now as a starter, if he can master that and get that ground ball to go along with the curveball and the changeup, good things are ahead.
Chris Young called out on strikes, took an inside curveball his first time up, caught the corner. Goes after the first pitch. Donaldson at third, goes the short way to second. That ends the bottom of the fourth. We'll go to the fifth. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
With the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize at-bat to feature the Blue Jays and stay up to the moment at any moment with scores, news, live game video highlights, and much more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Thank you very much, Hazel. That pad will keep you up to date on everything that's going around baseball. We use it all the time in our prep for the ball games. Keeps you up to date on things going around in baseball. Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, and Edwin Encarnacion to face Stephen Wright. We're in the fifth, 2-0. Blue Jays, they score both of their runs in the first.
Feels more like 6 or 7-0, doesn't it, for the Blue Jays, and it's only 2-0?
I tell you what, Fenway Park will make you feel like that. Saying, okay, everything's cool, everything's just cruising along here. Donaldson takes an inside strike. 1-1 to the Blue Jays third baseman.
They've been good games here the last 2 days. 5-3 and 4-2. 2-run games on Friday and Saturday.
There's a fly ball to left, not that deep. Chris Young in front of the warning track makes the catch. You know, I did a little research, Mr. Tadler. I went back and I looked at your history against pitchers. You had more at-bats against Charlie Huff than any other pitcher you played against. You faced Charlie Huff a lot. 69 at-bats against Charlie Huff, the knuckleballer. Actually had a home run against him. 15 for 69.
15 for 69. He was a soft tosser.
Yeah.
Those guys, I could hit those guys who weren't throwing very
69,
hard.
that's a lot of at-bats against one guy. Charlie would have been in Texas most of the time.
In Texas. Yeah? I remember on opening day he was pitching. I got 4 hits against him. I was scheduled to hit it the 5th time. They pinch hit for me.
What's up with that?
I don't know. You get 4 hits on opening day. You get pinch hit your 5th time.
Did you ever have 5 hits in a game?
No.
That would have been a nice opportunity.
Yeah,
huh?
I got 5 hits in a doubleheader, but that would have been the perfect time. I would have been batting 1,000 on opening day, right?
Leading the world in hitting, Pat Tambler.
Whereas they used to say 5,000. 5 for 5.
Bautista homered in the first. got the scoring started. Blue Jays scored a second run on Chris Colabello's RBI single. I threw that one a little bit slower, but it was down and away. 1-2 to Bautista.
He's hesitating every now and then on pitches. Stephen Wright, not really giving away. If he hesitates, it's a harder knuckleball or a softer one. See how he hesitates right there?
He just gathered a little bit and strikes out Bautista. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much, Jamie. And Albert Pujols, you know he's going to hit, just like Bautista. Too good a hitters not to over the course of a season. Strike two. To you, what is more challenging, facing Nolan Ryan or Charlie Huff?
Nolan Ryan, because you don't have as much time to think about it, right? His fastball's 100, his curveball's about 90, and it breaks all over the place.
He appealed down to the first base umpire. Will Little said no swing.
Are you in that big book of Nolan Ryan's?
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
The strikeout book?
The strikeout book.
It's a big one.
5,714. You're one of those guys? All right.
I probably got my name in there a couple times. There's a looper to left. Young coming in quickly, makes a knee-high grab of it. For a second time. 3 up, 3 down for Wright.
The WestJet Blue Jays Flyaway Contest is now on. Enter for your chance to cheer on the Blue Jays in Boston with WestJet. Go to bluejays.com/WestJetFlyaway to enter.
Hazel, I think there are a lot of Canadians that came down on WestJet. The city is full of Canadians, proudly sporting their Blue Jays memorabilia. Good line for Aaron Sanchez. 4 innings, no hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, just 15 pitches per inning.
For a total of 60. At times he's getting out of his windup and his delivery, overthrowing at times. I think that's why he has walked 3 in those 4 innings. When he stays under control and lets that ball work, tough.
Quickly ahead of Jackie Bradley Jr., 0-2. Ground ball, Tulowitzki near the bag at second. One down. I think Aaron's done a nice job of having a good tempo to his game. He gets the ball, he fires it, doesn't take a lot of time on the mound, and that keeps everybody on the infield on their toes.
Keep them on their toes, and you're going to get your share of ground ball outs when he is on the mound. There's just been a couple of fly balls to left field this afternoon. Everything else has been on the ground or strikeouts.
Ryan Hannigan, a strikeout victim. Ryan Hannigan has caught a couple of no-hitters. Caught Homer Bailey's no-hitters while they were both with Cincinnati. Boy, there was a lot of swing back on that fastball, wasn't there?
You know, Pete Walker talks about it, about carry through the strike zone. And what that means is it's a fastball that's low, and a lot of times hitters will give up on it, thinking that the ball's not going to carry to the plate and it's going to drop underneath the knees. But what he says about carry through the strike zone, it stays on line. And it's got that little hop at the end, and it stays right there. You don't see a lot of people being able to carry the ball through the strike zone like Sanchez does. And that's arm strength and the spin of the ball and the way he delivers the baseball. Roberto Osuno's another one that's got that, and I think Marcus Stroman has that. So as a hitter, you can't give up on the ball when it's down.
Well, you remember this phrase from your playing days when hitters would come back to the bench and says, man, that ball's getting on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we now know is scientifically identified as spin rate, quickness, movement. But back then we just said, boy, that ball gets on you. It doesn't seem like it's 95. But it's got a little extra hump on it right at the end.
And you look up and you see 88, but it's on you.
Hit into center field. Long run for Pilar. He's going to get there and makes the catch. A little dying quail into center field, and Kevin Pilar hustled and made a sliding catch for the second out here in the fifth.
He's always going to go all out, and he read it perfectly off the end of the bat. Saw that ball was not hit very hard by Hannigan. Hard charging from center field. I've seen him do that a few times in his career, and Aaron Sanchez digs it.
2 down, number 9 hitter Marco Hernandez. Yeah, this is where a catcher really pays attention to where the foul balls are going. And Hernandez was really late on that pitch, and Russell Martin says, you know what, I'm not changing anything. Just stay firm with that fastball and try to overpower him. Breaks his bat. There's the first hit of the ball game. Marco Hernandez gets his first big league hit, and it's the first hit off Sanchez here this afternoon. And now they're asking for the baseball. Sanchez probably wanted to throw it at him.
I got the same feeling. He makes a great pitch. It looked like he cut the fastball in on his hands. Breaks his bat, shatters his bat. There's nothing left to the bat. And wouldn't you know it, the ball ends up in the outfield for the game's first hit.
Yeah, Aaron Sanchez knew there were no hits, and you know what? When Marco Hernandez is a grandfather, you tell his kids, hey, I broke up Aaron Sanchez's no-hitter. They leave out the shattered bat part. Back to the top of the order, just like that at Fenway Park. It's a brand new game. Mookie Betts represents the tying run. Oh, good curveball. He hadn't thrown one of those for a while.
Yeah, he's been using his fastball and his cutter. You know, that's where, as a pitcher, you can get distracted after giving up that first hit and the type of hit it was. A broken bat single to left field. You got to get right back on it, concentrate, end this inning right here. See, he's always got that in the tank, doesn't he? A little bit extra on the fastball if he needs a punch out.
There goes Hernandez. Russell Martin's throw is into the baseline. Ball goes into center. Hernandez is hustling over to third. There'll be a stolen base and an error on Martin.
Russell had done such a great job, 2 for 5 in getting base runners this year. Hurries his throw just a little bit, bounces it at second base, and Hernandez picks up his first hit, first stolen base, and then moves up to third on the error. The ball just tailed on Russell a little bit and died.
Well, pitchers are often helped out by their defense, and now Aaron Sanchez can pick up Russell Martin by ending the inning right here. That would be an inconsequential error if Sanchez retires Mookie Betts. Base hit up the middle. Mookie Betts drives in the first run for Boston. It's a 2-1 ball game. This rally started with 2 outs and no hits.
And nobody on and 2 strikes on the batter. Looked like they were going to try and swing back that fastball on the outside part of the plate. Look where Russell Martin is set up, and the ball ends up in the middle. They wanted to freeze Mookie Betts down and away. It stays in the middle of the plate, and the Red Sox have their first run.
Betts has good hands, man. He got his hands inside and got the barrel to that inside pitch. He's a threat to run. Sanchez with no hits through 4 2/3. Gives up 2 hits here in the 5th. Ground ball. Tulowitzki will go to first. The inning is over. The Red Sox break through against Aaron Sanchez. They score a run on 2 hits, all coming with 2 outs. 2-1 Blue Jays.
May 9th to 13th at Rogers Center and across Canada throughout the summer. These tryouts will help determine the players that will be selected to represent their province at Tournament 12. Register now at bluejays.com/T12 for the T12 tryout in your area. Buck.
Thank you very much. It's always a very popular event. Robbie Alomar puts his name on the Tournament 12, and it really gives the young Canadian players an opportunity to showcase their skills.
Great exposure for them. You're starting to see them filter their way to the major leagues.
Troy Tulowitzki That's on the first pitch here in the top of the 6th. Blue Jays, they scored first in the first inning. Haven't been able to touch Stephen Wright since. Little chopper up the third base line. That bounces foul.
They have gotten a runner to second base just one time since the first inning. And this is a theme that we have seen played out here the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, they haven't been able to add on runs. They've had the knack for scoring early in the ball game, but then they get later on in the game and can't push anything across.
So you start to wonder, you say, okay, well, what's the problem? And so I started looking into some of the numbers. Last year with runners in scoring position, they were the best in the American League. Right now, they're 20th hitting with runners in scoring position. And all that is clutch RBIs, add-on runs, runs that you get in the middle innings or late innings hitting with runners in scoring position. And I think there's no doubt that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll take my chances with this lineup over the long haul. The Blue Jays just really scuffling a bit out of the box. Came into this game batting .214. Tulowitzki chases one upstairs. That might have been a fastball. Well, Chris Colabello had an adventurous last at bat back in the 4th.
This is a fastball right here from Stephen Wright. They want to go in, but it's up and in, and you can see Colabello is down, and so is the pitcher. Very upset as it caught him flush right on the side of that helmet. He was down for about 5 minutes or so, and then got up and finished off the inning. Stephen Wright was shaken up just a little bit, but he went and talked to Chris after that inning.
Colabello finished up the inning around home plate, and Stephen Wright walked off the mound and came in, and we can only imagine, but certainly checking on the well-being of Chris Colabello.
Well, this is what you were talking about. Chris was on second and finished up at home plate, and Stephen Wright went over there to talk to him. Hey, you okay? I'm really sorry about that. And Colabello's such a great guy. You know, I think everybody knows what a good dude he is, and never want to see a pitcher hit a guy up around the head area.
Obviously, people get concerned with the hitter and how they're going to be able to come back after being hit in the head. But I've seen situations where the pitcher is equally adversely affected. Ken Tatum was a great relief pitcher for the Angels, and he hit Paul Blair in the head. And Tatum was never the same pitcher. 2 down, Colabello grounds out to second. Ken Tatum hit Blair flush in the face, and it was an ugly scene.
Yeah.
And Blair was in a heap at home plate. It happened in Anaheim, and Ken Tatum just was never the same pitcher after that. Just wouldn't have that same aggressiveness, and always a little bit tentative.
Paul Blair wasn't the same hitter after that either. You saw him after that, how he would step in the bucket, afraid of getting hit again.
He was a great player, obviously, but he never really had that same ability at the plate as he did before he was hit.
I want to know, as you saw Colabello, how he got hit in the helmet and how loud it was. How did those guys hit without helmets back in the day?
And when guys were throwing at you intentionally. Yeah, you had to get out of the way, and certainly there are so many guys that were hurt. And
even the no flap helmets, how they wore those. Those were prominent in our day. Now it's mandatory to wear the flap, and it's been around for a long time. But how they wore just the no flap helmet, I don't know how they did it.
No, like you say, it was a long time, and for many years, batters came to play with no helmet at all.
No helmet.
Remember those old skull caps they used to put inside your cloth hat?
Yeah, that would take a lot of.
Yeah, all that did was keep the wrinkles out of your hat.
That's all that did. When you would fold it up and put it in your back pocket, that didn't protect you at all.
The last guy I remember wearing it was Bob Montgomery, the catcher for the Red Sox. Yep. He wore a skull cap. Top of the 6th inning on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Boston. It's a 2-2 ball game. Russell Martin has gone 0 for 2 so far this afternoon.
You think if you asked the players today, they would know what a skull cap is?
No.
No idea? I think they have a version of what that skull cap could be. We have seen Josh Donaldson wear it.
Inside, full count. Wright has reached that 100 pitch limit, and now that's Matt Barnes loosening up, and Tommy Lane's going to join him. Noe Ramirez is the right-hander. Tommy Lane is the left-hander. Blue Jays have had just 2 hits since the 1st inning. Look out, Russell. That pitch hit him on the back, and he'll take first base.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Carl Willis, the pitching coach, out to talk to Stephen Wright just to give the bullpen a few more pitches. Kevin Pillar is the batter there. The pitchers, Lane the left-hander, Ramirez the right-hander, and Kevin Pillar the only Blue Jay with hits after the 1st inning. He is 2 for 2 since that 1st inning.
I think that's all that was right there. A little stall tactic from Carl Willis to give him a couple of extra minutes down in that bullpen to get loose. This might be Stephen Wright's last batter of the afternoon. If he gets him or if he loses him, it's probably it for him. Got a couple of left-handers coming up after Kevin Pillar.
Pillar goes after the first pitch, hits it in the air. Chris Young over in the alley makes the catch. So the Blue Jays are done in the top half of the 6th, clinging to a 2-1 lead here in Boston. Campbell, and this is the 3rd game of this 4-game series. A reminder, tomorrow's game will begin at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. That is the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. We'll follow that top of the hour. It is Boston Marathon Day here in Boston, and they always play an 11 o'clock game. David Ortiz has walked in both of his at-bats against Aaron Sanchez today. A couple of pretty good pitches, and neither one of them called a strike.
And now if you're the Blue Jays, you're saying, no, wait a minute, this was a strike called earlier in the game, and now I'm throwing it there again, and I'm not getting a call.
Ortiz high and deep to center. Pilar into that corner, makes the jump and makes the catch. Kevin Pilar runs it down in that triangle in left center, just in front of the 379 mark, and he was determined to haul that one in.
Playing a little bit deeper in the 6th inning now with a power hitter coming up to the plate, 379, and he had that one tracked all the way. Very determined that he was going to catch and take that hit against the wall. Takes away extra bases from David Ortiz. You can see he's shading him ever so slightly to left field, but he's deeper to take those type of hits away from him.
He took a hit away from Ryan Hannigan on a little flare into center field, and here he pulls one down just short of the wall in left center. One out, Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez 0 for 2 so far with the strikeout. High breaking ball, but it's in there.
That one fooled Hanley Ramirez. We haven't seen too many changeups this afternoon.
No, it's interesting. Maybe they have tried it warming up and haven't been too pleased with it. Came back with another curveball. Sanchez takes his time. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Iwakuma and Tanaka, the 2 pitchers in that ball game at Yankee Stadium. That's here Tanaka, 7 innings. He's allowed 3 runs, 2 earned runs, hasn't walked a batter and struck out 6. He's throwing the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
Everybody always waiting for him to break down, and he hasn't. Travis Shaw fouls off that first pitch.
That's not a strike, Travis Shaw is saying. But if you look at pitch trackers, right at the top of the strike zone. He's also saying the guy doesn't need any help.
Sanchez and Martin having a tough time getting to the right pitch. They're ahead 0-2 here. Sanchez early in the game was missing down, and now he hadn't been able to get that ball down in that bottom part of the zone. Breaking ball, cut on and missed. Another strikeout for Sanchez, a perfect 6th inning, 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 7th. Blue Jays have the lead here at Fenway.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Beautiful Fenway Park with all its history, and they display it very prominently around this ballpark. Blue Jay fans taking it all in. New pitcher for Boston will be the left-hander Tommy Lane. Blue Jays have Ryan Goins and Michael Saunders, two left-handed bats to start the inning.
And that is why he is in the game. A couple of games this year for Tommy Lane, not much there, just an inning and 2/3. But because those lefties are coming up, he's got a good breaking ball, and he's been tough on lefties. Held lefties to a 148 average last year. That was the 4th lowest in the American League. He also allowed just 2 extra base hits to left-handed batters all season last year.
Tommy Lane is among the best at handling lefty hitters in the Major League rankings versus left-handed batters. Aroldis Chapman has a 128 batting average, and Tommy Lane is second, 159. It's a tough angle he creates. He steps toward the first base foul line and then gives you that crossfire fastball.
A little bit like Aaron Loop with the Blue Jays. He starts on the first base side of the pitching rubber, throws across his body, throws 3/4, and for lefties, you got to really stay in there. And he'll use his breaking ball to finish off batters.
Little looping liner over Bogarts into left. Ryan Goins fights it off and gets a leadoff single here in the 7th.
Take that, left-handers. First batter comes up. Goins has done a good job since the end of last season of handling left-handed pitching, just out of the reach of Xander Bogaerts for a leadoff single.
Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead here in the 7th. Now Michael Saunders. Saunders has shown bunt in this series. This might be a perfect time for it with Donaldson and Bautista behind Saunders.
You know, if you do, maybe you can get the ball past Lane, the pitcher. He was trying. He was trying to pull it by the pitcher, where the young second baseman, you can see Hernandez, the second baseman, talking to Brian Butterfield. What should I do on a bunt like that? Push it towards the rookie and see if he can mess it up.
Strike 1 to Saunders.
I'd try it again, I think, if I was Michael Saunders. There looks like to be a little indecision on the right side of the infield for the Red Sox if there is a bunt to the right side.
Swinging away, it's 0-2. Interesting, Travis Shaw started to go over to the right side of the infield and then got the signal from Brian Butterfield. Stay put. Double play situation. They're going to move Bogarts near the bag at second and keep Shaw on the third base side of the infield. In previous at-bats, he has gone over to the right side, 3-man infield on the right side. Not the case now with this double play situation.
He probably remembers that hit that Michael Saunders had back at Rogers Center. Remember the 2-strike hit where he inside out of the ball and rolled it through the left side for a double? Left-handed batters will try to stay on that breaking ball just a little bit longer and keep that front shoulder in there. Spray the ball to left field.
Saunders strikes out. The starter for the Boston Red Sox, Stephen Wright, gave up 2 runs in the first inning, including Jose Bautista's 3rd home run of the season. But boy, did he settle down after that.
A lot like his last start back at Rogers Center. He gave up a couple of runs and then nothing pitching into the 7th inning. And now John Farrell takes the ball from Lane. He did his job against the 2 left-handers, and he will go back to his bullpen.
Ramirez will come in to face Donaldson. Righty on righty when we come back to Fenway. new pitcher for Boston is the right-hander Noe Ramirez, and Ramirez is into this ball game to face Josh Donaldson.
Just his second year in the big leagues, first appearance in this series, already the 7th time that he has faced the Blue Jays in his young career. There are his numbers in 4 games this season. He's got a good fastball. He can sink it, a good changeup, and a good breaking ball. Can be very tough against the right-handers. That's why the Red Sox have him in there against the best hitters the Blue Jays have.
Goins at first with the leadoff single, 1 out. Blue Jays now have to shift gears after facing the knuckleballer all afternoon. That ball was right inside, and Donaldson fouls it off.
It's a timing issue. You know, you got the soft tossing right out there. Now you got to start it just a little bit earlier. Donaldson has faced Ramirez in his career. He's 1 for 4 at a home run.
Donaldson does a terrific job of checking his swing and gets everything going but the bat. His hips open up. He starts to throw the head of the bat, but he has the ability to check his swing. Donaldson hit that home run against Ramirez last Sunday in that 3-0 win over the Red Sox. Still a home run in the 8th, little cushion for the Blue Jays.
Much needed for the Jays in that win.
In that game, they scored 2 in the first and nothing until the Donaldson home run in the 8th.
Don't really think that Ryan Goins is going to be stealing over there at first base. Just plant yourself over there. Let these guys hit. You want to make sure that you get the best hitters up at the plate. Don't even take a chance of getting thrown out.
Way outside. Blue Jays have 2 runs on 7 hits. They've committed an error. The Red Sox have a single run on just 2 hits against Aaron Sanchez. Swinging a drive deep to left. Young over, looking up. It's off the wall. Goins is around third. He's being waved home. Bradley's throw to Bogaerts. Here's the relay. Not in time. Josh Donaldson drives in a run with a double off the wall.
Those are some of the big hits that the Blue Jays have been waiting for. He could sell out on a fastball once it got to 3-1 against Ramirez. Ramirez needs some movement on his pitches. He's got movement on that fastball, but this one doesn't do anything. It stays right over the middle of the plate, and Donaldson clocks it to left center field. Jackie Bradley in center field momentarily bobbled that ball once it came off of the wall, and that's all Ryan Goins needed to circle the bases to pick up another run.
Josh Donaldson's 13th RBI of this season. He leads the American League in that category. Inside to Bautista. Goins did a good job of running the bases as he was keeping his eye on the outfielders, and they were both looking up to play the ball off the green monster.
Yeah, and once you see that, you just keep sprinting as hard as you can. Make that outfielder stop you. Luis Rivera did a good job of aggressively scoring that runner.
Outside. Hannigan going to go to the mound and have a little visit with Ramirez. 1 out, we're into 7th.
Blue Jays have seen the best that the Boston Red Sox can offer out of their bullpen the first 2 games in this series. They have seen Uehara and Tazawa and Kimbrel.
Kimbrel has worked in the first 2 games of this series, and he's been in 6 of the 10 Red Sox games. Changeup from Ramirez. Had Bautista out in front.
He's got a good changeup, and he will use it. Likes to use it when he gets to 2 strikes.
Breaking ball on the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A run in here in the 7th. Pulled foul.
There it was right there. With 2 strikes, that changeup comes in play for him. Start to use it just a little bit more, about a third of the time. He throws a changeup, and you know Bautista's thinking about it. We've got that information.
Ramirez strikes out Bautista. Jose has struck out 3 times today. Two down now.
He threw him the changeup last pitch and then goes with the slider. Down and away. Pretty tough pitch to handle. Not out of the woods just yet. You've got first base open, and you've got Encarnacion, who came into this game over 300, a couple of home runs and 8 RBIs, and a guy struggling behind him.
Yeah, Edwin is 3 for 5 against Ramirez as well. Everything points to pitching around him.
I'd be shocked if you threw him a strike.
Off the plate. Yeah, here's where Encarnacion really has to be determined to get a strike.
You can't get too excited and get too antsy. You have to understand the situation, where you are in the ballpark, who's pitching, who's hitting behind you. You got a base open.
Got a breaking ball.
Wow, he made a mistake.
They didn't want that one there.
No. Watch Ryan Hannigan where he sets up. He is setting up off the plate. Almost begging the pitcher to throw something off of home plate. Ramirez made a huge mistake there. Huge.
Down and away for a strike. 1 and 2 now, 2 outs. Josh Donaldson at second. Donaldson with an RBI double. Working Encarnacion down and away.
Maybe he'll get a little greedy now that he's got 2 strikes on him.
He better not. Got to stay away from him.
Yeah. You get the 2 strikes and say, maybe I can get him.
Liner to left. That's a base hit. Donaldson around third. Here's the throw from Young, and it's not in time. Encarnacion goes into second, and he slides in ahead of the tag. And when Encarnacion drives home Josh Donaldson with a single to left.
You would think that they would start listening to us just a little bit more, right? You got the base open. You got a very dangerous hitter at the plate at Encarnacion. But once he got the 2 strikes, I think Ramirez said, I can get this guy. And he made another mistake out over the plate, and Encarnacion's going to make him pay for it. A RBI single to left field. The throw off the line. Donaldson, they weren't going to stop him. You got to take your chances here with 2 outs and a base hit into left field. Encarnacion sees it's a hit, sees that they're sending that runner to home. He's going to try and get into scoring position. And they're going to take a look at this one at second base. But what an at-bat by Encarnacion. Falls behind with 2 strikes. They make a mistake, and Edwin makes them pay.
This replay review is powered by Samsung. And you're right. And, you know, Encarnacion is now 4 for 6 against Ramirez. And I think you're right. I think he got ahead of him and said, oh, man, I can get him out here. Wrong. Edwin picks up the RBI. That's his 9th. He and Bautista have both driven in a run today. They both have 9. Donaldson has an RBI. He leads the league with 13 ribbies. Here's the play at second. And Hernandez, asking for the replay, quickly put the tag on, but it looked like he might have missed it. Looked like he swiped at him. And Encarnacion is called safe at second. It's a single, advancing to second on the throw.
Aggressive slide into second base. If he's tagging him there, maybe the cleat was in, but you got to constantly remind yourself the situation and who's up and who's on deck. Encarnacion has had a big series already here in Boston, and the Red Sox choose to throw to him, and they paid the price.
Troy Tulowitzki had a single in the first inning, but he has since flied out and struck out. Yeah, I would have stayed away, throw him something off the plate, and if he chases, fine. If not, you got a base open. No harm, no foul.
And what pitch do you throw with the most consistently that you can handle the best? The fastball, right? Where do you tend to make mistakes with? Your slider. And he threw him a breaking ball, and Edwin pounded it to left field.
So another lengthy review as the umpires are in communication with New York. Austin is challenging the safe call at second. 4-1 Blue Jays. 2 runs here in the 7th. That's a big inning for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Early on, they haven't scored many runs.
Remember we talked about hitting with runners in scoring position? They've done it here this inning.
Donaldson drove in Goins, and now Encarnacion came up with an RBI single. 9 hits for the Jays this afternoon. Blue Jays season high in hits is 10. That came against the Yankees at home. They had 10 hits and 7 runs. That's their best offensive production so far.
Was that game where they scored a lot of runs late? They scored 5 runs in the 8th inning. 4 or 5 runs.
Scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th. Broke it wide open. Michael Pineda started that game. That was a Jay Happ game, the one that Happ won.
Tulowitzki got a big hit in that inning.
That's when they were all going the opposite field. 0-2, way outside. Count is even now at 2-2. Ramirez in relief of Tommy Lane. Lane started the inning, gave up a single to Ryan Goins, and then struck out Michael Saunders. Ramirez came in and gave up an RBI double to Donaldson, struck out Bautista, and then the RBI single to Encarnacion. Strike 3 call on the breaking ball. Ramirez eventually strikes out a couple, but he gave up 2 big hits, and the Blue Jays scored 2 in their half of the 7th. Drive of the Game is brought to you by the all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Jose Bautista came into this series having hit 17 home runs here at Fenway Park, the most by a visitor since 2010. Well, this is number 18 right here. High knuckleball out over the plate, and all you have to do here is just get it up in the air. Jose making sure that ball stays fair. It's a home run in the first inning. And that's our drive of the game this afternoon.
That got everything going for the Blue Jays. For Jose, his 3rd home run of the season. He now has 9 RBIs. He loves hitting in this ballpark. His 22nd career home run here at Fenway Park. His 38th home run against the Red Sox.
Here are the numbers for Aaron Sanchez through 6 innings, a couple of hits, an earned run, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. That was a very long inning. While the Blue Jays were hitting, they had 2 pitching changes. So Aaron's going to have to just take his time to make sure he gets nice and loose again after sitting on the bench for a long time.
And then here in Boston, they always sing God Bless America in the bottom of the 7th. So there's an extra long intermission for Sanchez.
I'll tell you, as he starts the 7th inning, you saw that he's had 88 pitches. Just like that, he's going to be on a short leash as Drew Storen has gotten up.
Sanchez with another good start, his 3rd start of the season. He's looking for his first win. Chris Young takes a first pitch strike. 0 for 2 for Young. Well, no problem with the intermission. He is ahead 0-2.
Remember when he would come out of the bullpen and just fire fastballs in there? That's the feeling I get right now watching him. He might have been told, you've got one more inning. Let's see what you can do. See how quick you can get in and out.
Chris Young didn't agree with that pitch. He thought it was outside. That's academic. 7 strikeouts for Sanchez. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Tanaka goes 7. Betances pitches an inning, strikes out the side. Andrew Miller pitches an inning, strikes out the side. That's not fair. 2 innings from the relievers, and they strike out 6.
They're number 1 in all of baseball, aren't they? Striking out batters. I think they're averaging about 14 or 15 strikeouts per 9.
Blue Jays have contributed to that number. Of course, they played the Yankees. 7 strikeouts for Sanchez. Fly ball to left field, not that deep. Michael Saunders in front of the warning track. 2 down. Both hits that Aaron Sanchez has given up today came back to back. A broken bat base hit by Marco Hernandez, his first big league at bat game with 2 outs in the 5th, and then right behind him, Mookie Betts had an RBI single. Hernandez advanced to second on the stolen base, went to third on the throwing error by Russell Martin, and scored easily on the single up the middle.
Other than that, and 3 walks, Aaron Sanchez has been in total command and control of this ball game. His fastball has been crisp. His breaking ball has been good. We haven't seen too many changeups from Aaron. Now after that last pitch, that's Robbie Ross, who has now gotten up for the Red Sox. After that last pitch, I like how Aaron stepped off the mound, gathered himself after falling behind.
Regrouped and threw a strike. Catcher Ryan Hannigan 0 for 2. Three balls and a strike. We'll be right back here tomorrow morning as the Blue Jays and Red Sox wrap up this 4-game series. Clay Buchholz will go to the mound against Jay Happ. Pre-game show will be on the air at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. They'll set up the show. We'll be a half hour after them at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Hannigan takes ball 4. That's 4 walks issued by Sanchez.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Blue Jay fans a little happier here today at Fenway Park as their team has a 4-1 lead. Bottom of the 7th. Marco Hernandez in his first big league game collected his first big league hit in his second plate appearance. He's officially 1 for 1. He walked in the 3rd. Russell Martin asked for time. He's going to go out to the mound and try to coax Aaron Sanchez through this 7th inning.
It looks like he's trying to finish off the inning, getting ahead of himself just a little bit. It looks like he's trying to guide the ball in there. That's a good move right there by Russell to go out there and say, hey, just relax. Let's get back to what we were doing just at the beginning of this inning. Just stay back and fire that ball in there and take your chances.
Sanchez went 7 innings in his first start at Tampa Bay, got a no decision. Then 6 innings, 3 hits against New York, also a no decision. Ball on a strike to the Red Sox second baseman. Dustin Pedroia got the day off today. We assume he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow against J-Happ. Fly ball to center. Pilar moves underneath it, and the inning is over. Aaron Sanchez, for a second time this season, has pitched 7 innings. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Blue Jays trying to win one here at Fenway Park. They lost the first 2. They have a 4-1 lead as they are set to bat in the top of the 8th. They'll face the left-hander Robbie Ross Jr.
3 games already for Robbie Ross this year. One of them was against the Blue Jays back at Rogers Center. 6 up, 6 downs, a couple of strikeouts versus the Blue Jays. He's got a good fastball and a breaking ball that he will use. 3 strikeouts, just 1 walk this year. 2 of those strikeouts against the Jays.
Chris Colabello has had a very interesting afternoon. He singled and drove in a run in the first, his first RBI of the season. Then he had a scary at bat in the 4th. He was hit in the head by a Stephen Wright fastball to start the 4th. He stays in the game. Oh, he had a good cut. That might have been his best swing of the season.
Yeah, he's aggressive. He's not waiting for that ball. He's seeing it and letting it fly and taking the chances. He'll get his share of fastballs against Robbie Ross. I'm not afraid to challenge you.
For foul. 1-2 to Colabello. Just trying to get things going at the plate a little bit. He is 1 for 2 this afternoon. Just 2 hits on the season.
Gibby has said they're just going to play that position out just like they did last year. That they will share duties over there at first base, Colabello and Smoke. And I think if one of them starts to get hot and starts to hit, they'll get all the playing time.
Ramirez will go to the bag to retire Colabello. 1 down. I think John Gibbons will look for anybody to get hot and stick with him.
That's what managers will do, right? And he rides them too.
Well, you talk about the Yankees today. They dropped Alex Rodriguez down in their lineup. Rodriguez hit 6th today against the Seattle Mariners and hit a 2-run home run, his 2nd of the season. The Yankees beat Seattle 4-3 in New York.
Managers will sit there and they'll watch BP, and there'll be like small tales of what guys are starting to do. You can tell if he's going to start coming out of it. And between Colabello and Smoke, he was also talking the other day, Gibby, about maybe putting Encarnacion at first base and trying to get another bat in that lineup. Anybody to get this lineup going.
So Martin fights it off into the seats. Aaron Sanchez with a very good start here this afternoon. Marcus Stroman, top of the step to congratulate him. 7 strong innings. He's allowed a run on just 2 hits. Looking for his first win of the season.
Those 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning were huge. They had only been able to score 2 runs in both games this year. No decisions.
Russell Martin shoots one into right field. Russell's 1 for 3 today.
So just keep adding on. That's a good sign right there with Russell poking the ball the other way. Early on, he was spinning off of a lot of pitches. Stays on that one, stays inside it. Picks up his first hit of the afternoon.
Kevin Pillar, batting 8th for the first time this season, has had a 2-hit afternoon. Matt Moore had a good outing today as Tampa Bay beats the White Sox 3-2. Brendan Guyer 4 for 4 in that game. Just foul, and Pillar thought that might have been over the bag. Louis Rivera checking with Angel Hernandez, the third base umpire. Angel saying, oh, just about an inch foul. And everybody in the dugout says, Angel, you're not that good.
Oh, yeah, are you that good that you can say it's just an inch foul? But
wow, that's pretty close.
That is, it's not where it lands on those chalk lines. It's where it goes over the bag. That would be a tough one.
Kevin Pillar says, I'll go that way for a base hit. His 3rd hit of the game. Boy, that was a good swing. Just took it the other way and slapped it into right field. 3 singles for Pillar today.
You know, sometimes you start moving guys around the lineup. It takes a little pressure off of them there. That's vintage Kevin Pillar. Let that ball get deep. Inside out that ball. You've got the first baseman holding that runner on at first base. You had a big hole on the right side. He finds it, and he's had a big day.
Kind of an interesting time for the pitching coach to come to the mound. You got a left-handed hitter in Goins, runners at first and second, 1 out. I mean, obviously it's not a bunting situation, but he has to pitch to this hitter right now. He can't make any pitching changes in this situation. But you got 2 left-handers up. Very curious time to go to the mound.
The only thing I can think of is he's trying to buy some time for Matt Barnes right there. He's thinking 2 hitters from now. Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, Encarnacion. He doesn't want this one to get away from him. If he gets one of these lefties but loses the other one, now you've got the bases loaded and Josh Donaldson coming up. Who do you want him to face?
Good point. Give Matt Barnes a little extra time. Ryan Goins singled against Tommy Lane. His last time up, Lane, another lefty. Blue Jays have 11 hits this afternoon, only the 2nd time this season they've had 10 or more hits. Give you an idea of perspective. Last year, the Blue Jays did that 67 times. Double-digit hits, and in those ball games, they were 55 and 12. So John Gibbons said that looks a little bit more like my ball club. 11 hits.
Also makes him look really smart, doesn't it? shake it up just a little bit.
Dropping Pilar into the 8th spot. Hennigan keeps it right close to home plate. Well, Robbie Ross, he's got to be aggressive here with Goins, but Ryan, he falls behind.
And Ryan knows it too. He knows he's got to come in there with a fastball, so you can sit on it, and if you like it in your happy zone, go ahead and let it go.
Ground ball. Hernandez to Bogarts, back to first, and Robbie Ross Jr. gets out of it. A 4-6-3 double play to end the top half of the 8th inning. The Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Season, our account executives will find the packages that best suit your needs. Call 416-341-1234 or visit BlueJays.com to learn about all the great benefits of being a Blue Jays ticket package holder. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. We are in the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead. Everybody enjoying this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Drew Storen will make his 2nd career appearance at Fenway Park, his 5th of the season.
Last worked 4 days ago in that win against the Yankees. Pitched an inning, got touched up by a home run by Mark Teixeira. Now he gets Betts, Bogarts, and Ortiz here in the 8th.
Mookie Betts with the only RBI for Boston. He had an RBI single against Sanchez in the 5th. Terrific outing by Aaron Sanchez. 7 innings, 2 hits, a run. Walked 4 and struck out 7.
Now the bullpen's got to bring it home.
Two and 1 to Mookie Betts, leading off the bottom of the 8th. Storen appears to be getting stronger and stronger with each outing. You see a little more life on his fastball, sharper break on his slider.
Get that arm strength up. Just watch the radar gun. The 2 fastballs this inning that he has thrown to Mookie Betts have been 94 miles an hour.
And there's that nasty breaking ball. Strikeout for Storen. That starts the 8th.
I like the fact that he didn't show him his finishing pitch, the big breaking ball, until he got the 2 strikes to Mookie Betts. Shadows creeping across home plate makes it awfully tough to hit. Throw him that breaking ball with 2 strikes.
First pitch strike to Xander Bogaerts. He has grounded out 3 times this afternoon. Twice to the shortstop and once to third. This is going to be out of play down the right side. Storen pitched an inning against the Red Sox here last April 15th. 1 inning, no hits and a strikeout. Defensively for the Blue Jays, Justin Smoke has taken over at first base. One and 2 now. This is the 7th big league season for Drew Storen, his first with the Blue Jays. Ground ball, Donaldson. 2 down.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
David Ortiz, a couple of walks and a line drive to the center fielder, Kevin Pillar. He walked in his first 2 at-bats. Kevin Pillar made a nice defensive play on Ortiz, leading off the 6th.
Kevin Pillar is back, right? All it did was take a little pressure off of him, set him down into that number 8 hole. He's made a couple of nice catches today.
There's Smoke. He's camped out near the line. Easy inning for Drew Storen. No problem. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 9th for 1 Jays. Made 3 good starts early on this season. Today, just 2 hits allowed over 7 innings. Pat, he had it working all afternoon.
You could tell that the arm felt pretty good for Aaron Sanchez early on. He was loose. It was coming out of his hand quite nicely, and it really had the Boston Red Sox baffled. His fastball, he was dotting it on the corners. He has a lot of movement early on in the ball game with that fastball, and then he drops the curveball on you. All told, 7 strikeouts for Sanchez. He has pitched well enough to be 3-0. He is in line for the win today if the bullpen can hold on. He has pitched well enough to be undefeated, but you could tell early on that he felt pretty good this afternoon.
He has thrown 20 innings and given up 10 hits. 4-1 Blue Jays as they bat in the ninth. New pitcher will be Matt Barnes, a right-hander coming in relief.
Another hard thrower out of that bullpen for the Boston Red Sox. 4 games for Barnes this year. Blue Jays saw him back at Rogers Center when the Red Sox were in town. He earned his first hold of the season last Wednesday against Baltimore with 2/3 of an inning.
Michael Saunders, in his first opportunity as the leadoff hitter, has gone 0 for 4 this afternoon. He gets on the hit board with a single on the first pitch from Matt Barnes. Blue Jays have a season high 12 hits this afternoon.
And this is number 12 right there. Why wait around? New pitcher into the ball game. He's going to try and jump ahead of you. No need to take a look at it. Let it go.
John Gibbons playing the role of Karnak.
Now everybody in the lineup has a hit.
Karnak says, I'm going to change the lineup. 12 hits. Josh Donaldson had an RBI double in the 7th. That was a big inning for the Blue Jays to tack on those 2 runs, make it a 4-1 ball game. Donaldson rips it into center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Saunders moves into second. Josh Donaldson, a 2-hit afternoon.
Josh had a double his last time up against a tough righty in Ramirez. This time, second pitch he sees from Barnes. Stays behind that one. He's been swinging great. Another multi-hit game for Donaldson.
.13 hits now. Jose Bautista got it all going way back in the first. He had a 2-out home run. So you put the Jays out in front 1-0. Ball gets away. Saunders thought about it, but he'll hold his ground at second. For Bautista, his 3rd home run of the season. That gives him 9 RBIs.
You can cap the day right here with a base hit, right? Hit the home run. He's been struck out the next 3 times. Now you can put a capper on your day with another big hit.
Up and away. Roberto Osuna cranking it up down in the Blue Jays bullpen. Osuna 4 for 4 in save opportunities. Two and 0 to Bautista. Again, the distraction at second, not exactly where Barnes should be focusing.
Why are you worrying about Michael Saunders at second base? They've already tried a pickoff play over there. And he had the inside move. You better be worried about the guy standing at the plate.
Bautista drills it. That's going to get down for a hit. Saunders is around third. He's going to score. Donaldson goes to third base. Bautista slides into second. A 2-hit afternoon for Bautista. He's driven in a pair.
And another RBI for Jose. So he's got a multi-hit game. For some reason, Matt Barnes was worried about Michael Saunders. He wasn't going to be stealing or trying to advance. He wasn't going to do anything. He was going to let Jose Bautista swing the bat, and swing it he did. Try to slip a fastball by him. Watch how quick he is on the inner half. A laser to left field. Young gets over there, cannot knock the ball down. Can't come up with it cleanly. And that allows Jose to get into second base.
Bautista 2 for 5 on the afternoon. Infield is halfway now with nobody out. Runners at second and third. Edwin Encarnacion, he's had a pair of hits. Just a little bit more like it, Mr. Tabler.
Well, it just seems like the guys are just nice and relaxed now. They've got a 5-1 lead, a couple more runs out there, 14 base hits. You just relax and start putting together good at bats.
I'm not real sure if Encarnacion saw that last pitch. It was up and in, and he was late reacting to it.
He had a good at bat his last time up. Thought the Red Sox made a mistake trying to pitch to him with a runner on base and a base open, and he delivered.
Bautista with his 4th double of the season. 2 RBIs. He has 10 now. Jose also has 8 extra base hits. Good fastball. 98 miles an hour for the strikeout.
There's nothing wrong with his arm. He's got a good arm, Matt Barnes. He just needs to make better quality pitches. 3 straight hits to open the 9th inning.
It is absolutely remarkable how many pitchers we see nowadays that throw 97 to 100. Everybody's got one. Jesse Chavez has gotten up after the Blue Jays scored a run here in the 9th. It's no longer a save situation. Troy Tulowitzki offers at the first pitch.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Buck, you were a manager. Would you like to be Louis Rivera right now? Where he has to stand and where the batter is?
It's a little bit too close to Mr. Tulowitzki.
That's a little bit too close for me. You got to keep an eye on the base runners also, and he's got to line himself up in case there's a base hit into the outfield to give Bautista the go-ahead.
Yeah, he gets himself that angle so he can see the outfielder should there be a base hit. He's checking the positioning of them right there. Just reminding himself where they are, and he will factor in how far they have to run to pick up a baseball before he makes a decision on Bautista.
You got to have eyes in the back of your head, don't you? When you've got these big right-handed hitters coming up. Look how close he is.
Now he'll turn and look at the hitter once that pitch is on its way. Ball is in the dirt. Donaldson broke way down the line.
One of the other reasons why he gets himself where he is. There's the coach's box right there, the dirt. He's going to get himself in a position to watch that ball off the bat that he can help his base runners. I think I'll stay up here. I don't think I want to be down there.
Now you see that coaches all wear helmets now, but that's not much protection when you're that close. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, a run in here for the Blue Jays in the 9th. They have scored 5 runs on 14 hits, a season high in hits. Tulowitzki stays alive.
Nobody seems to care about the strikeouts when you got 14 hits and 5 runs and a couple more out there.
Another 10 strikeout day for the Blue Jay hitters. That is the 10th time in 13 games they have struck out 10 or more times.
It's not just the Blue Jays. It's all around baseball. Teams are striking out at a very high rate. We're not talking about it now with 14 base hits.
Well, the Mariners struck out 12 times this afternoon against the Yankees, and Dellin Betances and Andrew Miller struck out every batter they faced. They both struck out the side in the 8th and in the 9th. Betances in the 8th, Andrew Miller in the 9th, and Miller picks up his 3rd save of the season. Chicago White Sox struck out 12 times today. Tampa Bay struck out 9 times, 21 strikeouts in that game.
That was the Matt Moore start, wasn't it?
Matt Moore and Quintana. Quintana had 6. Matt Moore had 10 strikeouts in 6 1/3. Troy Tulowitzki trying to cash in here in the 9th. Goes after that high pitch and strikes out. Justin Smoke will make his way to the plate and bat for a first time.
High heater. This time from Barnes, and as a hitter, you got those runners at 2nd and 3rd. You got the infield in. You want to do something special. That time, Troy comes up empty.
Justin Smoke took over defensively for Colabello at first. Smoke is 1 for 12 in the early going this season. At first glance, you would think that Smoke's really swinging the bat well, and he's had some good at-bats, but he's struck out 11 of his 12 at-bats this season.
Tough to get some consistency when you're in the lineup and then you're out of the lineup. He was talking about that yesterday. Says he feels great, but he also said because he hasn't had those consistent at-bats, he says it feels like the first day of spring training. And we all know how we felt the first day of spring training. The pitchers are way ahead of the hitters. All it takes is one, right? One at-bat, good at-bat.
Down in the dirt. Smoke has had his problems getting regular work. He had to deal with the Bautista shoulder injury last April when he was swinging the bat pretty well. And then he had a long drought of at-bats. Same this season when Donaldson injured his calf and had to sit out those games as Donaldson had the DH.
And they obviously want to keep Edwin Encarnacion's bat in the lineup, so he goes out to play first base. And that cuts into Justin Smoke's time. And you can take all the batting practice you want. Go down in that cage. You can set up the batting machine and hit all you want, but it just doesn't replicate what you can do in the game facing big league pitching.
3-1 to Justin Smoke. Ball 4. So that'll load the bases with 2 outs. Russell Martin singled in his last at bat.
Carl Willis is heading out to the mound, and the message is going to be, take a look over your shoulder. See the bullpen? Nobody's up. You are going to finish this one. Right now, he's just trying to be a little bit too cautious. I think he's got to trust his stuff just a little bit more.
Carl Willis took over as the pitching coach here in Boston last May. Juan Nieves was relieved of his duties, and Willis was brought in. So now it'll be a fresh count for Matt Barnes. He'll be facing Russell Martin with the bases loaded. First pitch breaking ball for a strike. Russell Martin looking for his first home run of the season. He has had 4 career grand slams. Be a nice capper to the day for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and Russell's saying, boy, you can't throw a strike to anybody. I got the bases loaded and you drop a curveball on me on the first pitch. Not fair.
1-1 count. Stephen Wright started for the Red Sox, went 6 innings, was charged with 2 earned runs on 6 hits. He struck out 6. Then it's been Tommy Lane, Noe Ramirez, Robbie Ross Jr., now Matt Barnes. Check swing, the appeal down to first base. Will Little said no swing, that Martin checked in time. It's a 2-2 count now to the Blue Jays catcher.
Having to deal with the shadows and a guy throwing 96 miles an hour, that can't be any fun. But what would be fun? How about a base hit to right field?
A little flare.
A little flare, yeah. You can guarantee 2 runs to score that.
Now the breaking ball. Full count now, 2 outs. Bases are loaded. Everybody will be moving on this pitch. Blue Jays have scored a run here in the 9th. They had 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 7th, 1 here in the 9th for their 5-1 lead. Barnes pitches out of it. He eventually will strike out the side in the top of the 9th. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead over Boston.
Canada's largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. New 2016 authentic jersey with 40th season sleeve patch available now. Get yours today at jshop.ca.
Blue Jay fans are a lot happier this afternoon than they have been in the first 2 games of this 4-game series. Roberto Osuna out of the Blue Jays pen to try and close it out. It is not a save situation, but Osuna hasn't pitched since Thursday.
And you got him up and you got him heated just in case, so you got to bring him in. This is the Blue Jays' 13th game of the season, already the 6th for Roberto Osuna. Hasn't given up a run yet, 4 for 4 in save opportunities, only pitched 5 innings. So Osuna is up and get a chance to finish off this game this afternoon.
Osuna has allowed just 2 hits in those 5 innings. He hasn't walked a batter and struck out 6. Efficient. He threw 20 pitches in his first inning of work opening day in Tampa. That's the most pitches he's thrown in an outing. He's averaged just over 13.5 pitches per inning.
Everybody knows about the great fastball that he has, but he's pitching now with his slider and changeup.
Osuna picked up his 3rd save of the season last Sunday at Rogers Center against the Boston Red Sox. It was an interesting save. He struck out the side. He struck out Ortiz, Shaw, and Pablo Sandoval, the pinch hitter.
But what was unique about it is, and this is where it goes to being a pitcher now with all of his pitches, each one of those strikeouts were with a different pitch. You got a fastball, you got a changeup, and you got a breaking ball for each one of those strikeouts. And we're watching right before our eyes a young man really getting comfortable in his role.
Roberto is just 21 years old, and he has really enjoyed this opportunity to be the closer. One and 2. Get a looper into center, and that's going to drop in front of Kevin Pillar. Hanley Ramirez with a leadoff single. That's just the 3rd hit for the Red Sox this afternoon.
Well, you get used to him catching everything, but you can't. He is beat with this fastball, Ramirez and Pillar. You think he can do it, but he just can't get to that one. He has to catch it on a bounce. And now with the big lead, you see Justin Smoak playing behind Ramirez over there at first base.
Travis Shaw struck out twice this afternoon. 0 for 3 on the day. That's the improving pitch. That's the slider, and it's really effective for left-handed hitters.
Yeah, you can get it underneath the bat. It looks like a fastball, and then it breaks late. And he's got enough movement. A lot of times you'll see pitchers that have sliders that stay on the hitting plane. Roberto's got that slider that can get underneath the bat.
And then he's got 96 for you. Roberto's uncle Antonio pitched 11 seasons in the major leagues. His father, Roberto Osuna, as well, pitched 22 years in Mexico in the professional league, so he's been around professional baseball his whole life.
Taught him how to pitch.
There's a long drive to right. Bautista is back at the wall. It is gone. Jose Bautista just ran out of room. Travis Shaw with a 2-run home run, his first of the season. And the Red Sox have scored 2, still nobody out.
In his career against the Blue Jays, it seems like Travis Shaw hits everything. Well, he's hit 366 against the Blue Jays in his young career. That was a 2-strike slider. It looked like Roberto gave up just a little bit and just spun that ball. Remember we were just talking about it getting underneath the bat? That one spun, stayed on the hitting plane, and Travis Shaw, good hitter, just gets it into the bullpen for a 2-run homer.
It's the 8th home run Osuna has allowed, first of the season. Nobody out. Chris Young started against the right-hander Sanchez, probably in an effort to give him some at-bats before he gets the start against the left-hander Happ tomorrow.
Yeah, haven't heard any word that Brock Holt is under the weather or not able to play today. How many times have you seen it where a reliever comes in a non-save situation, and for some reason, I don't know, fire isn't there or something, he ends up giving up a run?
No matter who it is, Hall of Famers have had the same problem. They need a inning of work. You send them out there and they end up giving up a couple of runs. The biggest concern is the pitch count.
Yeah, that's what you have to look at right now. That 12 pitches and nobody retired for Osuna. And you got to hope that he can get a couple of outs very quickly. John Gibbons is thinking about that because you might need him tomorrow.
Yeah. He had Jesse Chavez up throwing alongside of Osuna and opted to bring Osuna into the game. 2-2.
Those last 2 pitches right there from Osuna, it looked like Roberto was trying to guide him to that spot instead of just throwing it to a spot.
Pop straight back near us, right here, just short of the mark.
A little bit more than we would have had it.
Hanley Ramirez single, Travis Shaw homered. Now Chris Young, the left fielder, with a 2-2 count. Strike 3 call. Young knew it.
Remember we were talking earlier about Aaron Sanchez's ability to carry a ball through the strike zone, and we said that Roberto Osuna has the same thing. Watch this fastball. It just stays down and carries all the way into the glove of Russell Martin. From the side you can see the hitter will give up on that, thinking it's just going to, the gravity is going to take it out of the strike zone, but he's got that ability to ride it through the strike zone for the strikeout.
Hitters will try to pick up a ball quickly out of a pitcher's hand, and then that ball starts down. You say, oh, that's going to be low. And then Osuna's able to drive that pitch through the strike zone. Jackie Bradley Jr. 0 for 3 so far. Osuna quickly ahead.
And Chris Young knew it too. I mean, that was a tough pitch down and away. You're just hoping as a hitter that that thing falls off and out of the strike zone. But he painted on him.
Good changeup, and Osuna, after the home run, has picked up a couple of strikeouts.
Okay, let's take a little bit. Get a little bit too close for comfort for me. So he comes in, he strikes out Young, and now he uses the changeup against Jackie Bradley. Finishes him off with a pretty good pitch.
Catcher Ryan Hannigan 0 for 2 with a walk. That's it. That's the ball game. Roberto Osuna gives up a couple of runs, but then closes out the Red Sox in the ninth, and the Blue Jays win their first game of this series 5-3 on Sunday afternoon.
This game was all about Aaron Sanchez and his dominance on the starting pitching mound. And then the Blue Jays bats, they finally came out 14 hits, 5 runs today. They could have got more runs if they could have combined those hits with runners in scoring position, but they'll take